Hey, I'm Jake, an onboarding engineer at Spacelift. In this video, I'll give you an overview on how to create your first stack. Stacks are the foundation of Spacelift. They're the building blocks of your pipeline, supporting a wide range of technologies right out of the box, and are fully governable with policies and controls to keep everything secure and compliant. So let's get started. From the stack screen, I'm going to press Create Stack. I'll call this one Stack Demo. I'm going to use the demo space, and I'm going to use a label called Demo. Then next up, I'm using GitHub. So I'm going to use the repository EasyS3 that I created. It just creates an S3 bucket, the main branch, and I don't have a different project root, so I just use the regular one. Here are some different stack types that we currently support with Spacelift. So we have OpenTofu, Terraform, Pulumi, CloudFormation, Kubernetes, TerraGrunt, and Ansible. And I'll select OpenTofu. And you can see we support a range or specific versions, smart sanitization. Spacelift could manage the state file, external state access, and you could also import an existing state file. Now I'll go ahead and define stack behavior. Here's where you could set things like the worker pool. So I'll go ahead and use my private worker pool. You could also specify a custom runner image if you want to pre-install dependencies. Here you could set an administrative stack that allows you to configure other Spacelift stacks and create Spacelift resources. You'll also find several run options. For example, run promotion can be triggered through the API. You can enable auto deploy, which skips manual confirmation, or turn auto retry on so failed runs are retried automatically. There are also options to improve visibility and security. Local preview lets you test changes using spacectl before deploying. Secret masking ensures sensitive values aren't shown in plain text. And protection from deletion prevents accidental removal of your stack. Finally, you could choose transfer sensitive outputs across dependencies. That way, even data marked as sensitive can still be securely passed as outputs to another stack. Next, you can configure hooks. Hooks are a set of commands that run in Spacelift during runtime. For this example, I'll just add a simple command ls-la and set it to run before initialization. You can configure hooks to run at different points in the workflow, such as before or after initialization or at other steps. Hooks aren't limited to basic commands. You could also run full scripts or even interact with external APIs. There's really no restrictions on what you can do with them. Next up is the cloud integration. I'm using one AWS cloud integration, but you could set up as many as you need. That way you could stick to a least privilege approach by giving each stack or space access to only the specific integration it requires. Now taking a look at policies, you can see that you could attach any of the policies that you've already created, and they could be attached directly, or you could use a label like I did with this auto attach all for this custom push policy. You could think of a context as a reusable package of variables, files, and hooks. In this example, I have one that's auto-attached for the demo, along with some global context. There's a lot of flexibility with context, enabling dynamic deployments or sharing one set of variables across multiple stacks. Now, after you configured everything, you'll see the summary page, and you can see all the selections you've made and hit confirm. So now in the stack view, you can see there's quite a few tabs at the top. Here in tracked runs, it'll show you the current run that you have. We don't have any yet because we didn't run it. Ignored runs is if there's no changes. Tasks, you can run one-off commands like tofu destroy. PRs is pull request. Environment will show you all the environment variables that are attached to this stack. Hooks, so you can see all the hooks you created, but you could also edit them here in line. Then in context, you can see the name of each context that we're using. You could also attach new context on this screen. IAC management, this will show you all the resources this created. Outputs, so if you have stack outputs. Dependencies are if you have one stack going to another stack like tofu and Ansible, and then the Ansible might configure something. Notifications for notification policies. Scheduling is for drift detection or other scheduled jobs. Then policies page shows you the policies, or you can attach new ones. And state history will show you the state history. So now I'm going to head back and press trigger run, and you'll see everything kick off here. A really cool feature is you could go into these three dots and actually export this as Terraform code. So everything that we just created in ClickOps, you could just drop right into your Terraform files and rerun as infrastructure as code. Then on the left side, you saw it just flash to planning. So if we go back, we could see underneath this, there's the initialization run, and it ran ls-la. And up here, we have the planning steps. So it's showing all the planning going on. And then here we could see the policy and how it evaluated it true with the simulation. And typically you could look through the logs to see which resources are created. So it'll just show like plus signs. But this is a really nice feature where it shows everything in a neat format. And I'm good with all of that, so I'll go ahead and press confirm. And you can see it says auto deploy is off. So if you set auto deploy on, that confirmation message will never come up there. And I skipped ahead a little bit here, just a couple seconds, so you didn't have to wait for it to apply, but that's it. That's how you can deploy a stack on Spacelift. Once again, I'm Jake from Spacelift. Thanks for watching my intro to stacks. Be sure to follow along as we cover more Spacelift features step by step.